Alexa, wall on. Hello, hello. Alexa, wall on.
I don't know that one.
Alexa, Brian's wall on.
Okay.
Okay, just give me a second, please. Hello, hello, welcome. I hope everything is working fine. I was having some problems connecting today. Well, let's start. And if you cannot hear me at some point, please just uh, let me know. Thank you. Thank you. Perfect. Okay, today we're here to talk about time and how can we be the one in charge of our own time. So before we start, with the practical suggestions and so on, I think it's important that we start by talking a little bit and understanding what time is, so we can understand our misconceptions about times, get different perspectives and insights. So we can go from there, right? Well, first, what is the first question? What is time, right? So I want to start by bringing up something that quantum physics, how quantum physics sees time and space. So, according to them, and obviously I'm not going deep into that, but we can do that another time and so on. But mainly, they say that time and space does not exist. And for us, for our human mind to actually grasp that reality, it's super hard because, I mean, obviously, time and space, we feel that, correct? So we, organize our days and so on based on time. And how can I say there is no space as well? So here's the thing, there is many theories that says that the way we perceive time and space is an illusion. Maybe you have heard already that that there are different dimensions, and at the same time that we are here right now in this dimension, we are in other dimensions. Whatever it's happening in the past, it's actually happening right now, and in the future this future, past and present does not exist. So that's how all of this, and quantum physics says that time and space is literally an illusion. However, getting this understanding, then you're going to say, okay, what is the quantum physics? I don't believe in any of that. So I just want to bring to your understanding that we actually, our science, produce knowledge with only 1% that exists. And that's a fact. So literally, if we are producing knowledge with 1% that exists, that means that 99% of the reality that we live in, we have no idea what's going on. So, for example, the scientists were able to prove that there is something called instant effect. So, literally, we can communicate as human beings. They don't know how that happens, but we can communicate instantly with someone from another side of the planet. So the interesting thing about this is, wow, if we just produce knowledge with 1% that exists, then I guess it's pretty rational for us to keep our minds open in understanding when they say, wow, we know that these things happen, but until now we never thought something could, until quantum physics arrived, we never thought that we could, that something travel faster than light. So wow, let's keep our minds open, understanding, is there different realities, is there different dimensions, what does it truly mean when quantum physics tells us that actually whenever I have a problem, I already have a solution in potential. Okay, so with that being said, being honor of our own time. Okay, let's deal with something that it's easier for our mind to grasp, which will be, for example, um, the 24 hours of our day, right? So let's try to work with okay, let's get into that part in a second. Let me bring another insight, another perspective for us to think about time. Okay, because you can say, okay, Ella, it's all good, all that you were saying, but what do we do with that information? Like, the reality I live in is I wake up here and I have to deal with my own time. So before I go to give you the examples and the suggestions, I wanted to bring us this questioning, which is, have you noticed how are we spending our time? And why do we think we are supposed to spend our time in the way we think we're supposed to spend our time? And with that, I'm saying literally the 24 hours a day that we all get in order to do things, right? This is simply a division for us to be able to situate ourselves. We need time because we need to say to someone that at 2 p.m. we're going to do something so we can organize ourselves. Also, something really, really, really interesting uh, is about time is that it is belief that many other, from a different perspective, that we all perceive time differently depending on the vibration of the earth. So sometimes we are going to feel that the days are shorter, other times we're going to feel that the days are longer. So anyways, this was just a curiosity, like how much we don't know about time, right? Anyways, going back to our reality, the reality our mind can grasp, which is 24 hours a day. Okay, so why do we do what we do and what we do with our time? If you think about it, time is the most valuable resource we have, right? Because everything else, uh, that's the whole thing. Time never comes back. The time that passed, you're never gonna get that back. So whenever we put our time, is literally the most important thing we do. If we're going to use our time to learn something, if we're going to use our time to stay with our family, to work, or whatever it is, truly, this is the biggest resource we have. And it's so interesting. Now, let's go back just 1 second for the quantum physics, because somehow inside of us, our soul, or whatever you want to call it, understands eternity. And what do I mean by that? We believe in somehow unconscious, somewhere in our being, we believe we have time. And because we believe we have time, that's why we allow ourselves to have bad days, to, discuss with people, to, I don't know, to waste time. Because somewhere inside of us, time is an illusion. We believe we have time because think with me. If you really just believe that you're going to have this life and from now on life is over and everything is over, you just got an exact amount of days to live. How wouldn't you use this time in the best way possible? How would you ever get worried? How would you ever get mad? Because you'll be like, you know what? One day that I lose being mad is one less day that I have until I die. Because there is a true, we all gonna die. Like, we know that. So look how interesting it is if we allow ourselves that, what inside of us understand that time the way we perceive in this reality is an illusion. So think about that one. Now, going back to our earth, to the way we perceive reality, the thing that our mind is capable of grasping. How our society is structured. Well, I want to talk a little bit about the economic and the social. So, economically, we are organized in a capitalism, right? And what does that mean? Well, mainly, time is money, correct? So, if we are living in this system that time is money, also, uh, well, in order for this system to keep going, we need the humans to be producing in a crazy amount of time. We need to be able to keep this consumption going. We need to be able to create products that are actually not going to last, I don't know for how long, because the person has to buy again. We have to be able to make sure the population has the means to keep consuming. Let's put it this way, and I'm doing obviously a generalized uh, observation. Let's put it this way, it's just for us to be in the same line of thought, because in this way we're gonna keep having works, we're gonna keep having jobs and so on. So if you really think about it, we are like those little rats in the lab that we keep turning their wheel. It's a never ending wheel. If you just think about what happened in 2020, just look around when people were not producing, crazily producing, and the energy of doing, what happened? Well, economy started to collapse, people start feeling absolutely anxious and so on. So in order for us to keep living in the way we look outside and see reality, oh, that's how life is. Well, no, you were born and this was the system that was going on. So for you, that's normal. But if you truly ask yourself, listen, if you knew the day you're gonna die, it can be in 30 years, it can be tomorrow or in a week. Wouldn't you live? If I tell you that you're gonna die in a week, wouldn't you live? Wouldn't your priorities and understanding of life change? Absolutely yes. I'm 100% sure, or let's say 99% sure, that you wouldn't waste the last week of your life fighting with your boss. You do something else. However, we don't have this certainty. And now, again, let's think about we have the understanding of time as being uh, eternity, right? We believe we have time to spend. So the whole idea here is okay, since we don't know what time we're going to die, correct? So let's say in 30 years we're going to die. Well, I guess the question that capitalism asks us is in 30 years, what I'm going to take it away from this life? Well, whenever that time is getting close, we're going to realize that the only thing, the most valuable resource we had was our time. Where did we spend our time? Were we worried? Were we not living in the present moment? So majority of us literally live in this way because we have a definition and not a great concept in our head. What is success? Because what capitalism tells us is that success is equal to what you produce. That's it. So if you ask yourself, what is success for me? Majority of people are going to say, I want to have a good career, I want to have a family, or maybe, but I mean, I want to have a good career, I want to achieve this in my time, in my life, and so on. Why is usually always related to our career, to our doing. So, my first invitation for us to start understanding how to be the owner of our own times is what is success for you? If you look outside and think that success for you is about power, is about money, just remember that this comes and is in our collective unconscious, this understanding with capitalism, the economic system we have in place right now. Okay, so Let's keep that in that in this side for 1 minute. Now I'm going to invite you to think about the social structure, which is the patriarchy. Patriarchy, as we have talked here a little bit already, I want to just bring 2 points here, which is the patriarchy is is applauds the masculine energy and renegates the feminine energy. Again, nothing to do with gender. We have talked about this here. The point I want to do in regards to this is this. Whenever you're doing something, you are producing, that means you have a value. Whenever you're simply being, that means you are being lazy. That means you might have no purpose in life. Anyways, if you really look at that, you somehow are going to feel guilty about not doing. So the way we are wired, okay, to leave this patriarch, which is always, even us women, as I said, there is nothing to do with gender. It is all about this. I have to be doing in order to have value. I have to know goals in order to have value. We do not appreciate, we do not think it's important for us to connect, to understand what is the subtle, for us to understand that everything happens from the inside out. That's the reality that is true, and it's proven by science, is from the inside out. But still, they have, the society and the systems have to keep us sleeping, have to keep us unaware of this reality. Because if we figure out that actually everything is created from the inside out, then all the systems would collapse. Simple as that. So just think about that for a second. If you don't allow yourself, if you cannot turn off your mind, you are addicted. Whenever you spend your whole day on your phone, you're addicted. We are literally, we have a disease, and we're not even looking at that, because whenever there is a lot of crazy people around us and we are just one more person of the crazy, that doesn't make all of us crazy. I'm going to try to reframe that. That is a saying in Portuguese that I try to translate. What I meant is like this. If there is 100 people going the wrong direction and you're going to join them, that doesn't mean that that's going to become the right direction. You can be the only one walking towards the right direction. That's going to be the right direction. So it doesn't make the right direction just because majority of population is walking in that way. If you're hearing this talk and if you're feeling the need to actually become the owner of your time, let's first understand how we got here, how we not became the owners of our own times. And this is all society. We were, that was created in our head by the economic system, by the way we organize ourselves socially. Right? So the idea for us here is, okay, let's start opening up and understand how we got here, misconceptions of life. So I want to invite you to do an exercise. That's what I want to invite you to do. Then we go a little bit deeper into that. So first of all, let's think about this again. Just use our mind in the way we can grasp this. So our day has uh, 24 hours. My day has 24 hours, your day has 24 hours. Okay. Now, let's say you sleep 8 hours a day. Okay, so that leaves you with 16 hours. And then let's say you take 3 hours to eat and shower, all your 3 meals and shower. Okay. Then you're left with 13 hours. And then you work, let's say, for 8 hours. So daily, you have 5 hours left. And my question for you is, what do you do with your time? Okay, so you can go back to these questions here. I can write down in the description of this video. But before we start doing the exercises, I would like to invite you to think about these questions. Actually, not just think, if you can write down, that would be awesome and amazing. Which is, mm, what makes me truly fulfilled and happy? That's the first question you're gonna you're gonna answer. Another one. Are you able to list three actions necessary to fulfill your life mission on earth? That means for you to live well and have peace. So the invitation is write three actions that you think are necessary for you to fulfill your purpose in life. And the third question is, if I did not have to worry about money, what life would I like to live? Okay, so if money was not on the game, what would be the life you would like to live? And the final question before we get to the exercises, before we start thinking about time, is what do I want to deliver as a legacy to the coming generations? Okay, because from this question, we're going to understand what are the circumstances that I need to create in my life in order to deliver that. Okay, so the invitation is you can go come back right here, write that down, and let's start understanding that our time as we perceive it right now is finite. So, as I said, we have, let's say, 24 hours a day and 5 hours free day free, correct? So, in order for us to become the owners of our own time, in general, this is for for everyone. In a little bit, I'm going to talk specifically for women because we can go one step deeper. However, this, as I explained, is for everyone. And the point is, right now that we know how much hours that we have, and we understand what is important and what we want, and how much time we actually have, it's important for us to understand our priorities and for us to stop feeling exhausted, to stop feeling that you have so many things you want to do during your day and you are never able to do them, and then you feel frustrated, and then you feel you haven't done everything in the best way you could have done, and then these start getting to so many into our emotions and our unconscious patterns, and then at some point you just reach your limit and you're like, you know what, fuck everything. I'm not going to do anything anymore. And we keep living these ups and downs because of our misconceptions of reality, of what we're doing here. So, for us to be able to become the owners of our own time, we first have to understand our own selves. And then we're going to work with the practical, tactable time, right? In order to make the time works for us and not us be a slave of the time. So, once again, self knowledge. Well, the invitation is for you just a simple exercise. Now that we figure out a little bit that those questions that I shared with you already, we are going to understand what are our priorities. Okay? If you already know your priorities, you can do this simply by saying, okay, my priorities are, well, I need to eat, obviously. I need to take a shower, obviously. Okay, but let's put priorities. I'm going to take my kids to school. This is something that is on my day. I want to have time to meditate every morning. This is one priority. I want to work 8 hours a day. That's a priority. So, what I want to work on my body, I want to do a physical exercise 3 times a week. This is one priority. Anyway, so figure out if a simple way to do this, you figure out what are your priorities. Then you determine your non negotiables. Meaning, out of this list that you did as priorities, you have to figure out by yourself what is non negotiable for you. Maybe for you, non negotiable is having my time to meditate every morning. But maybe you can work around a little bit since our time is finite during the day, and you can understand, oh wow, I don't have to pick up my kids every day in school. I can figure out this, that it goes with another mother, or the father takes on this day, so I open a little bit of more space here for me to take care of me or do something that is important for me in order for me to keep reaching what is success that you determined back there. What is success? Because you have to understand what is success for you in order to create a goal, in order to make time to work on that. So this type of little things. So first, after doing your priorities, understand your non-negotiables. And this is obviously not right, not wrong. It's a list for you to understand how within your routine you can start becoming the owner of your own time, because we are not victims, even though we feel this way. I feel this way so much time, so many times. And the truth is, I put myself in that situation because I believe I'm a superwoman, I guess. Because I don't know, every time, how many times did you say in your life, oh, my day has to have 48 hours? No, you are the one not being able to organize yourself enough, or your priorities are not set, or you don't even know what you're doing with your own time. Okay, so time is time for everyone. Let's understand misconceptions. And by the way, in my opinion, it always starts with what is success for you and with those questions that I invite you to ask. Okay, if you want to go a little bit deeper, okay, into this about your priority lists, I invite you to get three papers. In the first paper, you're going to write down um, I know you're gonna get, yeah, you're gonna put your name in the center of the paper, and you're gonna put three arrows. Okay, we're gonna divide your life in three parts. One is daily life, another is practical life, another one is free time. You can do your priorities or understanding what is important for you, what is not, and then determining your non-negotiables, dividing this in the areas of your life. Okay, then, the second part of this exercise, the invitation of this exercise is, after you have figured that out, you're going to get another paper and you're going to write down. We're going to start working with time right now. So, uh, in the next, okay, at least once in life, I want to. Second one, in the next 5 years, I want to. In the next year, I want to. Okay, now we started to work with time. Now, next piece of paper. Per month, I want to. Per week, I want to. And every day, I want to. So you see, this is a self knowledge exercise for then us be able to actually create a goal and create a route for us to understand, wow, I am the owner of my own time. Okay, so this is our basic, because I want to start bringing practical exercise that we can put into motion so we can start seeing these changes. I said that I was going to talk a little bit more specifically about woman, which is a beautiful invitation for you, woman, because here it is. We are cyclic. Okay, so again, as we have talked a little bit before, is everything in this life as we perceive. So we are living the third dimension. We label things. We perceive this reality as a duality. What does that mean? Again, in order for the light to exist, the dark has to exist. In order for the cold to exist, the hot has to exist. As I just said about our society, the feminine energy of being, the masculine energy of doing. Okay, woman, we are linear and we are cyclic. So our nature is cyclic. Our body, literally, physically, goes through four different phases every month. Our hormones change. And the beautiful part about this is whenever, by the way, I don't know if you have watched, there is videos on my YouTube channel that are called Your Cyclic Woman. Another one is the Woman's Map for a Balanced Life. If you haven't watched, I invite you to do so, because there we discuss more in depth what are our four cycles during 1 month. Because the way we can organize ourselves is we as women can stop forcing against life and start working and flowing with life when we understand our own hormonal changes. Meaning, it's going to be, if you do this work of self-knowledge, you're going to notice that in the first phase of your cycle, and this is just an example, you might feel more quiet. You might feel your brain activity slower. You might feel you're more sensitive. You might feel you have less energy. This is an example. In the second period of your cycle, you might feel full of energy. You might feel it's really easy for you to make goals, plans, how to get from point A to point B. Maybe in the third part of your cycle, you're like, oh my God, you really want to connect with people. You want to interact. You want to share. That's your energy is the outside. And then in the last phase of your cycle, you understand that it's all about you and going deep into your shadows, understanding why you're feeling this way, what is the cause of that, and so on. So look how much our own cyclicality gives us tools in order to work with our own time. Because if I know this about myself, then I'm going to try my best not to have that hard conversation with my mother, with my boss, with my partner in the days that I know I don't have that much patience. In the days that I know are more sensible. And if they say A and I wanted to hear B, this is going to be like, whoa. So I'm going to try to not to put myself in those situations. Again, you can say, Ella, we live in a modern world. I'm working. How am I going to tell my boss that I cannot do the meeting? Well, whatever you can organize around your life, knowing, wow, I'm super creative right now. So I'm going to put all the work that I have to do when I'm good in creativity. Then I'm going to work organizing because I'm better here. This is something you can do for yourself because now you became the owner of your time. You're not trying to push to make this report when your brain is not functioning. So, and how do you know this? Just by self knowledge. And then you start realizing, wow, my brain doesn't function now. Let me not try to do this right now. Let me plan ahead. Okay, so let's say about the boss again, coming back to that. Let's say you're sensitive and you sensible and you have this meeting. Well, already knowing that you're feeling this way in case you cannot avoid that situation, what you can do is literally you have the conscious and you arrive there and say nothing that is going to be said is going to be I'm not going to take personally because I know I have the tendency as of right now to take this personally, to think that people think I'm not capable, whatever it is. You're telling yourself the truth. Someone tells you something that something is not bad. First, you don't react because you know what's going on. Then you reflect. Knowing you are in that situation, you reflect a couple of days on that, and then you bring the solution. And then you bring from a conscious place point of view because you already know that in those days you're feeling that way. So look how beautiful it is to become the owners of our own time. So how do you do that? The basic answer is through self-knowledge, through understanding how you work. Can you imagine? There are 7 billion people, universes, because each single human being is a universe within itself. It's hard for us to agree with people that are from the same blood, that has the same blood as us, that live under the same roof, even though we can have so many characteristics in common. Each human being is a universe that is created by their perceptions, by their stories, by their understandings, and so on. So there is never going to be exact same human being like you. So how come we are all trying to use time in the same way? How come we all have the same definition what success is? This is impossible. So this was given to us and it's on our hands to understand, wow, my time is finite, correct? As of right now, what we know, okay, we know this is all an illusion, but who knows? No one came back to tell us exactly what happens and how it happens. But okay, but we can understand that inside of us, we understand eternity. So, okay, I'm going to do my best to live the best I can as of right now, as this human being living in this body. Great. Why am I following something that I don't even understand? Is that okay that I always feel exhausted? Is that okay that I always feel guilty whenever I don't want to do anything? What is success for me? Is that okay? Am I really, if I was gonna die, if I knew I was gonna die in a month, would I be doing what I'm doing? Yeah, well, Ella, but I'm not gonna do, and I have to think about the money. No problem. What is the balance there? Because your time is finite as well. It's gonna finish. So how are we using our time? For us to become the owners of our time, we have to understand we are not the victims of it. We are just being the victim of it because we're not aware of it. So the invitation always is, let's become aware. Let's bring it to conscious. Whenever it's in the conscious, we can start working with different tools to deal with our time in a different way. So I hope you have got anything from today, new insights for you to think about how you're using your time. I truly invite you to do this exercise at least once in your life. Like, you can do the basic one, like the priorities and what are your non-negotiables. If you can divide in the areas of your life, professionally, any area that makes sense to you, professionally, free time, family, and so on, understand what is important for you as a unique human being. And then you're going to start planning your once in your life, once a year traveling, and daily. How can you balance that? Because burning out and then giving up and then burning out, what is that? What are we doing to ourselves? Okay, so that's the invitation of today. If you have any comments, you can always you can always comment here. You can always reach out to me, and I'll see you here tomorrow, 12:30, for us to talk a little bit more and get about other things and get some, practical tools that we can actually use in our daily lives. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope we finally understand that time is our most valuable resource. So let's use it wisely, because it's never coming back. Whatever time is that doesn't come back. This moment will not exist anymore. So let's get the most out of it, most of our every second present. Okay? Have a great beginning of your week. Bye bye.